Welcome to the Superstar Communicator podcast of your hosts, Nick Simon and Susan Heaton-Wright. We're here to create intrigue and interest about spoken communication to empower you to speak and communicate with confidence, clarity, and credibility in all of your business conversations. We interview expert guests from all over the world. Listen twice a month to be inspired to be a superstar communicator.
Thank you very much for joining us. We've got Nick and Susan here, which is absolutely brilliant. And what we're going to be doing is talking about our about the live stream, about the 2024 and looking forward to 2025. Nick, have you got anything to say about that before I continue?
It's going to be interesting. We've got the booklet, so it'll be interesting to see how the kind of reflection and looking towards the future is set out on this.
Yeah. So for anybody who is watching, we have created here at Superstar Communicator a great 2025, best 2025 book for you to download. So we have put the link there for you to register, and then you can download it either as a digital fillable book or so that you can print it off, because I know some people enjoy doing that. So why on earth should we worry about looking at 2024 and moving forward to 2025 now? I don't know about you, Nick, but you can get so busy, and this is a busy time of the year when we're preparing for Christmas and Christmas parties and all of those things. And we can forget to reflect and to celebrate our successes of the year. And this is something that I became aware of very much when I was an opera singer, that you would be working on one thing and you'd literally then move to the next thing without ever stopping, even for a few minutes, to think, you know what, that went well. I should be proud of what I've achieved there. Is there anything that I'd do slightly differently next time? And it's very easy in life to just move forward, going from one thing to another. Oh, next thing's Christmas, then it's New Year, and then I've got to get more business, or I've got my goals for 2025. But doing it in a combination of things can really, really help. Is that what you do, Nick?
Yeah, I was just interested in when you mention going from one performance to another. It's you can sort of not lack the time to sort of reflect on the performances and the production beforehand, and see you don't really get to learn from those things that you did. But I was just interested in seeing how can people take the time to kind of reflect on what you've been doing.
Do you know, that's a really, really good point. Only this morning I was working with one of my clients. Obviously, for confidentiality reasons, I can't say who this person is. But when we started, I gave them an exercise to do that at the end of each day was reflecting on how well they'd done. Um, and some people call this the sort of happiness thing, or gratitude, where you choose three things that you've done that you're proud of. But I expanded that exercise so that they would really recognize what they'd achieved, what they were proud of, and how they had contributed to those successes. So over time, for this particular client, it's become second nature with neuroplasticity. As you know, when you start doing new things, you can train your brain to think automatically in that way. And what I would say is that that is a really good exercise to do. And if you work in a team as part of the process, in the end, as well as celebrating that you've finished, to reflect on what went well, what perhaps you could modify for next time, that sort of thing. Um, and this is really an annual one, as looking at things over the year. Um, what are your thoughts about that, Nick?
Yeah, I think from my point of view as a composer and doing these kind of projects, it's always nice to actually go back on pieces that you previously made. As an artist, I think that's one of the nicest things about the process of starting off and developing your style and that kind of thing, going back to where you started and seeing how you kind of had initial ideas that you slowly but surely built up, and seeing how you can take those ideas into the future.
Yeah.
And from a kind of career point of view, it's nice to see that the progression that you've slowly made over the course, and see the new knowledge that you've gained and the new people you've met.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. And I know, we both know because we at different times have worked in the music industry ourselves, there is often a focus on what you've got wrong, rather than looking at the big picture and thinking about what you have achieved and what has gone well. And that's an important thing. And that's hopefully what this book is partly about. Yeah, taking a little bit of time to reflect on this. I wanted to share with you a couple of things that I do every year. I've got this, I don't know if you can see this jar, but it's a fabulous year, 2024. And in here, I write down on bits of paper things that I've done. And they might be little things. So there's one here, and it says net walk around Panshanger Park. And I remember it exactly. It was with a lady called Rachel, and we had the most fantastic couple of hours chatting to each other whilst being in nature. If I'd not written that down, I would probably have forgotten that. And that's something that I would recommend to everybody, that get a big jar and start this in 2025. And then at the end of the year, they can look back on what they've done. They might not be big achievements, it doesn't matter, but it's to remember those people you've met and all of those things. Have you thought of doing that, Nick?
No, that's a great idea. I think if you find yourself having the free time, you can sort of go back into it and look at all those ideas. And I was just thinking about all the notebooks I've got that I've written ideas down, but just sort of forgotten them. So that might be a nice thing,
Yeah,
just
it might be a better way
to
of doing it, having
my
an ideas jar.
yeah, my one of these notebooks that I've got, there's literally got dust laying about, and I could actually take break those notes off and put it into a jar and see, if I one time just put my hand into the jar.
That's a great idea. And another thing that I have is a to-do list, and it's got 100 things. And, towards the end of December, I start writing things I'd like to do next year. And there are going to be things that I will be doing. I've already booked to go to the Netherlands, and I'm going to be making a Chanel jacket, a bespoke one. That's on there, and celebrating my mother's 90th birthday, things like that are on there. And as when things are quieter between Christmas and New Year, it's great to sort of think, you know what, I'd like to do that, and write them down. And then you tick them off as you do them. It inspires you to think slightly differently. Do you have anything that you do similar to that, Nick?
Yeah, I quite like the reflection boards, the pages you can get to sort of think about the stuff you've done. So especially my creative stuff reflects on what I've done over the year. When you're creating, you're sort of looking to the future, and rather than when you're editing, you're going over what you've done. So it's quite nice to actually um, go over what things you created and think, oh, those ideas were really good, and especially when you're doing projects that require that creative output.
Yes. Maybe you could incorporate it within the process.
Yeah, I guess so. Typically, it's usually the case as you mentioned earlier with operas going from one production to another. But I guess when you've finished those productions and you've got more free time, it might be nice to have that reflection kind of.
Yes, yeah. So let's go to the book because I know that we've both been doing independently working on these things. So right at the beginning, there's a reflection to look at 2024. Every year's got its ups and downs. There are some highs, some lows. That's part of life, isn't it? And so there are four prompts here. What should I celebrate in 2024? What was disappointing? What did you learn? And what have you achieved? So I don't know if you want to share a couple of things, Nick.
Yeah. What could I celebrate is definitely the projects I've done. So recently, I've filmed and I'm composing music for a short film. It'll be 40 minutes cut up into four episodes, and that will be the biggest score for a film I've done. And also this art comes alive, which is a an art exhibition I helped organize, and the music for that is very expansive, and um, I was very proud of the music we created for that.
Brilliant.
And
Um,
what about your ones?
well, speaking to people. Oh, yeah. I wanted to kind of earlier, well, last week I spoke to one of my clients and we were celebrating 2024 and she said, "Oh, I was lucky with that." And I said, "Do you know what? You should still celebrate because you did put the preparation in place to achieve that, even though there was an element of luck. This individual was is in the law sector, and you can be so well prepared, but the jury might go the other way. You never know when it comes to court what's going to happen." And I said that you have to reframe it to think, I did the very best I did, and therefore that was a success in itself. But yeah, I mean, I'm being very, very lucky because I have some wonderful clients. I've had some lovely things that I've done this year. I celebrated my son's, he graduated in MA at university, which was great to celebrate, and 30th wedding anniversary, all sorts of things like that. How about what disappointments? Because so we have to be honest here.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how can people be constructive when doing those that kind of
That's a really good point
exercise.
because it's very easy to beat yourself up about things. And maybe this is something that you have to step back from the moment and reflect backwards with a little bit of time in between. But certainly for me, I it was great because I got over a really serious shoulder injury. And so I was back swimming, driving, doing all sorts of things like that. And then I fractured my elbow. So I was back at orchestra, really enjoying being back with my friends there making music, and I wasn't able to help. And that was disappointing for me, but I'll be back in January again.
Mm.
How about for you?
I think some of the projects I did, um, the end product was very good, but there could have been more um, overall collaboration. I think I'd have liked to help the people on the projects try and find a way to collaborate more. Um, and yeah, the process of making the projects could have been gone more smoothly. I think with more experience, that is the nature of when you're organizing events or filmings. That there will be things that go wrong, and that's why you do them to build the experience. But
Oh,
at the same time, I'd have
absolutely.
liked to have some more um, uh, planning ahead of time and people management, I think.
Yeah, but you know that it's disappointing, but I'm sure that you will approach it in a different way next year
Mm.
as you go on. And
And
what did
that's
you
yeah, that's the
learn?
nature of yeah,
That's the
that is the
nature of
nature of
creative
doing it,
thing.
that you learn more from mistakes. So
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
the case
And
of reflecting on what happened. And
yeah, and it's not a failure. It's actually an opportunity to learn, unless you keep doing the same thing wrong.
mm,
How about what did you learn? I mean, they seem very closely linked, those two.
mm. Yeah, and you can sort of fill that in within the each box between them. I learned a lot about the kind of more detailed writing CVs, things about your career that you can use, and wording it in such a way that it is relevant to things like job interviews and that kind of thing. Where whilst I'm used to more creative writing, which means that you can leave certain levels of interpretation to the reader. But
Yes,
for the more pragmatic writing of job applications, that requires you to be as specific as possible.
yes. That's a really good point. Um, I've learnt to keep in touch with people and, rather like with my jar, enjoy, really appreciating that joy comes from small things, to enjoy every moment. How about what you've achieved in 2024?
So that's sort of similar to the first one. And I guess coming over at the end of the year, I would have achieved a kind of more awareness of the things I enjoy doing, um, and learning how to use software to a point where I'm quite confident and can use them for my own projects.
That's brilliant. Certainly for me, I did some fundraising. I did the Serpentine swim. I saved up my money and bought a hybrid self-charging car, which I'm very proud of, um, and a brand new one, which was very exciting. And I know that it will be on the road for a number of years, so no recycling there. I'm always very, very grateful for all of my clients. I've traveled to Italy and France. I've been married for 30 years. Those are all achievements, believe me. So, if you are listening or watching this video, don't forget to consider these things for 2024 before we move to 2025. And remember that you can download this book that's been created specially for you. So, if we move to 2025, what we're going to do is there are 15 prompts, and we invite you to think big. There's nothing wrong in thinking big or being ambitious. Um, be brave about this. Dream the impossible. We are not here to judge you. If you decide to aim for the moon, you might get the the ground. If you aim for the stars, you might get the moon. See what I mean? If you've got to aim higher, you'll achieve more. So, and be inspired. So we're going to inspire you with one or two things that we have considered. All right. So the first one, oh, the first one is do more. So Could this be more exercise, more reading, more socializing, more studying? Leave it to you. So, Nick, what have you put down?
Um, all of those.
Oh, have you?
It's quite a good prompt. And
Do you
yeah,
like these prompts?
yeah, it's very useful to give a kind of example.
Yes. So
Um,
there's a whole page for each of these prompts. So you can scribble down things, just um, brain brain dump ideas. I put more exercise, more adventures, listening to Blinkist. Now, Blinkist is something that there's a summary of a book and you get a different one to listen to every day. And it's great. It's expanded my knowledge of different things. Selling and sorting junk.
hmm.
Okay, so the next one is do less. Commuting, time wasting, binge watching TV shows. Here's a chance for you to be honest with yourself. We're not going to tell anybody. What could you cut out of your life?
When it comes to being able to reflect on these, would you say that it'd be a good idea to put it the page somewhere on your wall, somewhere that can
Could
remind
do.
you?
Yeah, you could do. You could put it in front of you to remind you to stop scrolling on Instagram or something,
Hmm.
looking at cat videos.
Yeah, and I've tried to cut down phone use because uh, or more specifically social media use because a lot of the writing I do is on my phone. So I've that would be one of the do less things I do. And there are different apps you can download that help you do that.
Oh, that would be great to share. So I get a report every week, and apparently I'm spending hours a day on my phone, which is far too much. So that needs reducing. Um, I said binge watching, but I'd like to qualify that because there are times when we're all stressed and we need to rest, and it might be binge watching a series might help us relax. So really think about that and the implication of that. All right. So that what's the next one? Travel to
It's a
your
bit
dream
weird. Your
destination,
microphone's
your
changed.
favorite place to
No?
see your family, dream big, and put this as a priority.
Can you hear me?
So do you want to go, Nick?
I'm relaxed, but
Can you
alive.
hear me?
Oh, what is
Uh,
don't know who that was.
can you hear me? Your microphone changed.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, could you repeat what you were going to say? Travel
Oh,
to.
travel to your dream destination, your favorite place to see your family. Dream big and put this as a priority.
Hmm, yeah. Well, I've got already got. I'll be going skiing, but I'd like to
Ooh,
also
who are you going
um,
with?
my dad, um,
Wow.
and that would be quite nice. But also, I've been invited to different countries to visit friends, and that's most definitely at the top of my list of organizing, so I can visit different countries and visit friends at the same time.
Definitely. Well, I'm going over to Ireland in June, and that is partly for a conference, but also there's a retreat that I'm going to with my husband. I'm going to the Netherlands in July to do this Chanel jacket, Norfolk to celebrate my mother's birthday with my family, Wales, we've got somewhere that we go to there, and also Derbyshire to celebrate 25 years of friendship with a number of people. And all the families are going to be there. So already there are some very exciting things for both of us to do, aren't there? And then the next one is become more qualified, confident, more ambitious. What do you want to become?
Mm. This is quite an interesting one because it's not too it feels it's quite constructive, but it's also quite realistic. And yeah, I think I'd want to become more of a director and writer and become, I guess, it might be against the rule of it, but become more organized and that kind of thing. Um,
Do you think as a director, being organized as well as having a vision is an important thing?
yeah, definitely. Especially if you're doing multiple different parts of the things you're directing.
Yeah. Okay. So that's really, really interesting. One of the things that I really want to be in 2025 is what you call a NED. So that's a non-executive director, either within a charity or a trust or something like that, to give back because, with the experience that I've had over the years, that could make a real difference. So that's something that I really want to become. Next one is ask. Something we should do more of, asking.
Oh,
Is it okay
I've
to,
got achieve.
oh, sorry, apologies. So achieve, what would you like to achieve? A medal in the marathon, a new job, be fitter, be financially more secure? Go for it.
Yeah, that kind of um, connects to become. It's sort of you can go from what you want to become and what you want to achieve out of becoming that. So if I was a director of say a short film I did, achieve uh, I'll keep it quite a low bar, but achieve a finished short film and go from there where that ends up.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I've put actually achieve a term of playing an orchestra without injury, which I would really, really like next year, and also to be fitter. So I'm working on my fitness again now that I've recovered from my injury. So the next one is to ask, which going back for that, it's okay to ask for advice. It's okay to ask for opportunities, for a chance, for feedback. What are you going to ask for?
Yeah, that's quite an interesting one. I'd ask friends who I know have more experience what they would the advice they would give or what kind of tips they'd
Absolutely.
have.
Yeah. Ask for connections. Ask, could I be introduced to? Um, do you know anyone who could give me some advice on this? Um, ask to meet specific people. Ask for opportunities. These are, we often think that it's not polite to do this. However, believe you me, there are people that do that and they are successful because they do that. Next one is eliminate, which is similar to do less,
I've
but
got
more.
gain.
Oh, I've got it the wrong way around, everybody. Oh, sorry about this. Gain. What do you want to gain? More skills, more time, more happiness. What do you want to gain, Nick?
Yeah. I'd like to gain. I've got lots of time, but I'd like to gain kind of almost the opposite of that with work, so I have less time um, because I find the more free time you have, the less organized you are, or the less effective you use that free time. So, although that might be on the next stage of eliminate, but yeah, something like that.
Okay. So I do not want to gain more weight. I want to gain more confidence and I want to gain more joy in my life. And then eliminate, similar to do less, though it's more specific. Could you eliminate distractions? Could you eliminate wasting money on specific things? do an audit of your life and see what needs to be eliminated. Now, I should say that at the end of every year in my business, I do an audit. And this is an audit of any software I use. Do I still use it? Should I stop the subscription? Any business networks that I'm in. So there is one organization that I have that I'm not going to resubscribe to next year because I'm not getting out of it. From a financial point of view, it's a waste of money for me. So it's worthwhile going through all of those things, actually having an audit for your business, but also for your life as well, because there might be things that you subscribe to that you don't use or things like
And
that.
it's quite a useful time to do that as well, because the financial year ends in within the month. But
Yes.
it's quite good if you think about things you want to eliminate or reflect on the finances you've had. It can give you plenty of time to think about that.
Yes. So I put eliminate scrolling on my phone and audit my spending and time. Yeah. How about you?
I've got, yeah, scrolling, but also eliminate as too much free time, and find a balance between having work and free time.
Yes. Perhaps I'm sure your parents would be able to find things for you to do in the house.
Mm.
So the next one is create. What do you want to create? A safe home for you and your family, a completely different life? Create a creative project. Be creative. So what have you got on that?
Yeah, I think this is the opportunity to kind of, as you said earlier, aim for the stars and hit the moon. And you could go as big as you want in this one because it's creative in nature. So I would say I want to further my own writing and create new book series that I've been thinking about, but I can creatively commit to them.
Excellent. So I want to create a clutter-free home. That would be lovely. I've create many sewing and craft things anyway, but specifically I'm going to be making a Chanel jacket, a bespoke one. I want to create a padded patchwork jacket, and I'm going to go on a pattern cutting course so I can create my own designs. So the next one is improve. We all want to get better. Do we want to improve our quality of life, have a better relationship with our colleagues or family? What do you want to improve?
I definitely want to improve my workspace, so where I work, my workstation, to become more streamlined and organized and have less clutter. So then
Okay.
that means that you're always able to create and think about things very quickly.
Yes. I think mine is quite similar about tidiness. So the next one is communicate, isn't it? We are not mind readers. Your colleagues or line manager or your family or friends don't know your ambitions. Your family doesn't know you are unwell unless you tell them. What are you going to communicate in 2025 and how will you do this?
That's very good one, and it connects very neatly to ask. So you can I'd communicate my ideas to, I guess it depends on who you're talking to, but ideas and ambitions with events and filmmaking.
Yeah. So for me, it's, continue to communicate the best version of myself and also asking, making sure that people know what I need or want. And the next one is read, listen to, or watch. Our lives are enhanced by inspirational books, articles, by listening to podcasts and audible books, listening to speakers and opinions, even watching films or the TV. What are you planning to inspire yourself in 2025?
Yeah, I definitely want to read more. Um, so I'm rereading a book series, but I'd like to read more books that correlate with the books I'm writing. So I guess the step before that would be search what to read and then.
Yeah, I mean, something that I do every year is that there is an app called Goodreads. I don't know if you've come across it, Nick, but you can put a challenge in that you read a certain number of books in the year. And when I was 12 at school, we had a book a week club, and I was a member, and we would read at least a book a week. And I've had that, I suppose that is something that I've done since then. So I will be putting into Goodreads that I'll read 50 books. I've already achieved that for the year. But also, um, I recommend Blinkist. I've mentioned that before about you randomly get a title of a book and you can listen to a summary every day of about 15 minutes. Um, I already look avidly at forthcoming books that are reviewed in the newspapers, films, TV, and certainly in the next few weeks, I'm watching the latest Strike Cormoran book that is being which is on TV. The Split Barcelona is coming on just after Christmas. Traitors is coming on the new year, which I'm excited about. But I will also go to some concerts as well.
That's a big list.
I know, I know. Right, so we're coming to near the end. So the next one is organize. Whether you wish to organize your record collection, decluttering, a trip of a lifetime, this is your chance to choose what you will organize in 2025.
Mm. And this sort of kind of connects to eliminate and improve.
I think so,
Um,
yes.
so yeah, I'd say my definitely my workspace and where I work as well. That'd be quite
Okay.
useful. Um, yeah,
And I put junk to sell and give to charity, so really organize that side again. So there's a bit of a theme, isn't there? Practice. Perhaps you want to practice our tennis skills or meditation for relaxation. Maybe you want to practice your speaking skills to improve. What are you going to practice in 2025? And I'll start my viola and also balancing. I've recognized, I know it sounds a bit bizarre, but my right side, I do not have very good balance. So I'm practicing that so it becomes much stronger. How about you?
I'd say I'd like to do this kind of reflective writing and in general writing just for the sake of it. Any idea down
Yeah,
into my notebook. So practice doing that maybe once a day
yeah.
before bed. That'd be quite nice.
Yeah, I think that these things are really interesting because you get into a habit of doing that. So it becomes second nature in the end. So finally, we've got embrace. Who are you going to embrace? Your family, your friends? Are you going to embrace a healthier lifestyle, for example? What are you embracing? So with you, Nick.
Um, Probably more creativity. I think that's always what I want to be doing. So if I have a project, try and create as many things surrounding that project. So music, art, and then writing, and just embrace those creative projects.
Brilliant. So I took it literally. I have an elderly mother and elderly in-laws, and I want to embrace them because, you never know when they'll no longer be with us. I want to embrace a healthier lifestyle and to embrace life, to enjoy it. So this is something that we can all do. I don't know if you enjoyed that, Nick, that process. Maybe you want to discuss all of those things with your girlfriend. You might want to discuss these things with your friends or your family, because these are things that you can elaborate on to really get clarity for your next year. Because guess what? We've only got one life, and it's a shame to let it go through our fingers. So for those people listening, if you want to grab a copy of the ebook, there will be a link for you to download your own copy. Nick, is there anything you want to say before we finish?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if how would you say you can do this yearly?
I think that's a really good point. You could always save the book. Somebody's already said to me that I should create it as a book that people could purchase for 2026. It's probably a bit late for 2025 now. And then to sort of do that as a part of your annual rituals. To make the most out of life. Certainly since I've embraced doing things like this, there are many, many more things I've achieved, with my family and in my personal life as well as professional. So anything else you want to say before we finish?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for listening. And again, please feel free to download the book, because it's of huge value with some great prompts for you. So until next time, this is Nick and Susan from Superstar Communicator. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for listening. You have been listening to the Superstar Communicator podcast with your hosts, Nick Simon and Susan Heaton-Wright. If you like what we do, why not buy us a coffee on buyusacoffee.com/superstarcomms and subscribe to hear all our podcasts.